Welcome to the Real News Extra. My name is Fred. I'm the operations manager here at Relaw APC. And joining me today is Jennifer Felten, the principal and founder of Relaw APC. So Jennifer, what does SB 9 allow, and how does this new executive order change it?
Right, so SB 9 was passed by the legislature a couple of years ago with the intent of allowing the development of more housing. So it allows you to take a piece of property that's within a certain area. You need to be in a city and near a transportation corridor, but assuming you meet those criteria, you can take what was a single family residence, subdivide the property, and then build 2 units on each piece. So what was 1 home could be up to 4 homes.
Okay.
So it's, again, trying to create housing with the issues we have with housing. The concern, which triggered the executive order, is that in areas that were impacted by the fires earlier this year, Altadena, Palisades, they're concerned that if these multi-unit properties are built all over the city, that they're not going to be able to manage the rebuilding of the infrastructure, rebuilding of the neighborhoods. Think about the potential traffic impacts, the potential parking impacts. You know, when one house is being turned into 4 units, that you can manage what that's going to look like from a parking standpoint. It's not great, but it's manageable. If we've got a whole block that was designed for single-family homes,
hundreds or thousands of homes,
right? And now we've quadrupled it. Where is everybody going to park? Where is?
Right.
How are we going to manage water, electricity? You know, all of those kinds of things. So it doesn't mean you can't use SB 9. You can still apply and try to get SB 9 for a property, but it's not going to be automatic. SB 9 took away the authority of the local government to say no, and this says they can say no, right? They can actually make a plan and look at these areas that have been burnt to make sure that what's getting rebuilt makes sense. Which means, because it's already going really slow, it's going to get that much worse.
Even slower, right?
Fortunately.
So how does the local safety concern shape SB 9's rebuilding and moving forward?
Right. I mean, it's a valid concern, right? I'm a big believer in building, and I think that we need more housing, and I think there's a lot of opportunity in the communities that were burnt down to rebuild them better, but that does require a plan. And I think one of my huge concerns is, you know, most of Altadena and Palisades were planned communities.
Right.
One developer came in and built a tract that was designed for a certain population, a certain use, right? All those kinds of things. And if we're letting one-ups happen here, there, and everywhere, you're going to have some real challenges.
Right.
So that they get it and they want to do something, I applaud, but I feel horrible for the poor people who are having to live through this, because this is like, we were already worried about timing. This is going to make it that much slower and more challenging, because it's not automatic. Your approval is going to be not ministerial, but proactive. And even if they want to, they don't have enough people to be looking at all of this stuff. And there isn't this one person who's building 100 homes, right? So it's going to be very challenging.
So given all that, under the SB 9, what are the first steps that a property owner should be doing now if they plan to do rebuilding under the SB 9?
So you need to be getting guidance from an expert who is comfortable working with the city of LA, because both of these properties, Altadena and Palisades, are both LA.
Right.
So you need someone who knows LA, who knows what they're going to approve and can have those conversations, that has the relationships. You should not be bringing in some engineer from San Francisco.
Right.
And no offense, but they're not going to have those relationships that they need to have to know. And you need to build this additional approval time into your plans, because there's a holding cost when you own a piece of property, right? You've got a loan, you've got expenses. You need to plan another year on your holding costs at least, and just be prepared for this not being an automatic approval.
Got it. Well, thank you. And thank you for joining us for the Real News Extra. If you're enjoying this content, I invite you to click on like or subscribe, And of course, ring that little bell for future notifications. My name is Fred. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.